Clubhouse in the chat. So if you are live on this channel right now, we're going to go through the 12 principles of the book Shift. If you're concerned about what's happening in the real estate market, or you're just wondering, what do I do amidst all of the Fed housing changes? You're talking about, interest rates going up. You're talking about food, gas prices going up. I'm going to give you 12 action items that you can do today to bulletproof your business and put you in a position to succeed. I see Derek Bixler. I see Kim Farr in the chat. If you are live on the YouTube channel, just jump in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, if this topic is something you are thinking about. And keep in mind, right, I speak from the lens of somebody who owns a real estate brokerage and a production company, but these same principles apply. Doesn't matter what type of business you own. You could be in fashion, you could be a photographer, you could own a coffee shop or a sneaker shop. It's all branding, marketing, and sales, typically in that order. So let's get super tactical about it. The one reason this is top of mind for me is for the last 3 to 5 years, it has been a bloodbath if you've been a buyer in this market. Very difficult to find investment deals that cash flow, very difficult to find land. It was such a fervorish market. And I think everybody wanted it to balance out, just wasn't healthy. We saw a 37.6% increase in values from last February to this February. From that date to today, we're down probably about 10 to 20%, but we're still 15% ahead of values of last year. So amidst the news headlines talking about values going down, keep in mind that is February to today. But recessionary cycles, and I'm not going to use the R word anymore in this episode, typically only last 15 to 24 months. Now, if I'm extrapolating that from a purchasing standpoint and I'm looking at buying opportunities, it's real simple math. $1 million house that I can buy today at a $200,000 discount, so $800,000, let's say. And let's say after even a worst case, 2-year period, it goes up again $250,000. So I get it for $800,000 today. Yes, I pay a little bit more in mortgage payments. I believe it's $14 in increased interest per 100K every time it goes up a half basis point. So I'm paying a little bit more in interest payments, but I'm still paying down principal on that property. 2 years goes by and I get $250,000 put back into my balance sheet when that cycle ends and it goes back on the upswing. So the question that I want to ask you today, especially if we're talking real estate, is if you're looking to invest, would you prefer to buy a property at a $250,000 increased price, or get it at a discount today, pay more in interest, and then have that $250,000 added to your bank account? Jump in the chat. Let me know which option you would prefer. But in order to be able to do that, you have to be in a position to be liquid and make that acquisition, right? So we're going to go through a couple steps here that you can do to position yourself to jump on those opportunities. The very first thing, and again, I'm going to reference two things. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you the photo that gave me the inspiration for this segment. So I'm showing you a photo of a beach, and this is Grand Bend, Ontario. I took this photo. I really, really enjoy photography. There you go. I see Cell State Priority. Sheila wants $250K to her balance sheet. There you go. We'll make it happen. So this is a storm, right? This was one of the craziest storms we had in this area. And there's the pier. Really fun shot. It was crazy. Happy Canada Day. I see you too. Yeah, this was around this time last year. The interesting thing about storms is they end. And this is that exact same beach the next day. So these storms tend to last for a period of time and then they go away. So the 12 principles that I'm going to give you today are based off of realizing that that storm is going to end. The book Shift are where these 12 principles are coming from. So I wanted to drop this link here as well. I'm going to drop this link in Clubhouse in a second. If you go to justinconoco.com/resources, I'm going to compile all of these links for you in my newsletter. I'm going to drop it next week. I'm going to give out a free template from Trello for time blocking. I had done a segment a couple weeks ago on that. I think I forgot to share that link out. So I'm going to drop that next week. So 2 extra bonuses next week. If you're on Clubhouse, just scroll to the resources tab and that will be there for you. So the first principle of this book Shift is get real and get right with your mindset, right? Before you can even think about tightening your belt and looking at your income and your expenses and all the other steps we're going to get into, you have to have the right mindset. Everything we just talked about right now is getting in the right mindset, because there could be 2 Justins. There could be one Justin that's reading the headlines and talking about the negativity, the increase in gas prices, and inflationary rates, and government policy. I'm getting stressed out just talking about it. And then there could be a Justin that looks at 2 photos of the storm and realizes this too shall pass. right? And I would rather be the Justin that is the this too shall pass Justin than the other Justin. Now, the other mindset I can have from my business is, well, I'm going to grow no matter what, because you are going to have certain businesses. And I think if you audited 100 businesses, 99 of them would probably say, I'm going to grow in this opportunity. Yet in the reality of it, maybe 70 or 60 or 50 of them are actually going to grow, because out of those, some are actually willing to look at the reality of the situation they're in, and others are just plugging their ears going, la, 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 everything's going to be just fine. We're going to get into the mindset of looking directly in the mirror and making sure that you're being the person that's very honest about where you're at right now, what you need to do to get through this next period. The second thing that you want to do, the second thing, I would almost say it's the first, but the mindset's important, is remargin your business. So your profit and loss statement, the last 5 to 10 years, I think it's almost been 20 years here, because we didn't go through the same 2008-9 recession that you guys did. Remargining your business is incredibly important, because a lot of businesses are bloated right now, like very bloated. If you've achieved success in a bull market, congratulations. A lot of businesses that are not profitable have achieved success in a bull market. A lot of venture companies that are doing insane raises, right? Like I'm talking 50, 100 million, $200 million raises in Silicon Valley, cannot raise money for the life of them right now. Those businesses are not built to be profitable. They're built to exit. I look at the angel investing world as a precursor to what's happening in the other markets. I look at the bond markets. I look at the stock markets. I look at everything as a whole to see where the consumer confidence is. And I think I want to look at my business the same way and almost assume that part of it was luck. Like, yeah, sure, I worked my butt off. I put great systems in place. I had an amazing team, and we earned a lot of our business. But the reality of it is, let's pretend that the market had a lot to do with that success, and let's look at remargining our business. So, do you have an effective profit and loss statement? Are you looking at your income and expenses? And you can make this very, very simple. And you can start looking at what your monthly reoccurring costs are. And even if you don't own a business right now, maybe you're an individual entrepreneur, you're wanting to get started in a business, look at your own financial health. Look at how many subscriptions you have online. Go check out your Apple subscriptions once a month, and then make sure that that $2.99 a month is not going into something that you're not actually using. Fun fact, I believe it's Good Life has a business model where if 90% of the people that signed up to Good Life actually showed up, they wouldn't have enough square footage for their business. That's because they know the majority of people aren't going to use their gym membership. So just tighten up on a lot of those things. I canceled a health membership that I had that was $90 a month. And it was a thing that's helping me with some physical therapy, but I didn't need to spend that. I already have the knowledge from that course. And I built out the routine that I'm going to do on a daily basis. And now I save $90 a month that I can reallocate somewhere else. Also, remargining your business is looking at your internal team structure. What Kim shared earlier was incredibly important. If you don't know who Kim is and you're live on YouTube, go look up Kim Walsh Phillips. She's an absolute dynamo. And she was speaking about having a very efficient team. There's her COO, who manages her direct reports under her. So she only manages the COO, a very large efficiency in business. From a real estate standpoint, I own a brokerage. We're not in the recruiting business. I don't want 1,000 agents. Every time I hire an agent, it actually costs me money, because I could be doing more business if I just hired more showing assistants and admin, because I would just keep a lot more of my own business. My model's a little bit different, and it's very lean and efficient. We're like a Navy SEAL team of experts. We do every class of real estate, but I'm very lean on who my core team members are, who my core admin are. And we've looked at making shifts of, instead of expanding salary-based employees, we actually just partnered up with a national firm to help us scale. So now I have the ability of doing 1,000 to 2,000 transactions a year with the same core team. I'm going to be paying a little bit more to an independent contractor, but they're not a salaried employee. And if anything were to go negative, I'm not in a position where I'm going to be outputting more money than I'm bringing in. Because the other thing that I'm thinking about when I'm remargining my business and I'm in the right mindset is, I may not have a ton of cash coming in the next 6 to 8 months. We have a lot of deals in the pipeline because we absolutely crushed it last year. We have a ton of inventory right now. We're doing sales, but I'm still pretending I'm not, because I want to be in a position to succeed. And this is all around getting liquid. So what is the financial snapshot of you personally, and then of your business? I see a ton of people in the chat. I see you. Azteca 007, I see you. Jennifer Goodman, nice to see you. You're probably riding horses this morning. And Kim Walsh Phillip, oh, she's awesome. Yeah, nice to see you as well. So the third thing is leverage. So the third point, or the third out of 12 ways that you can shift an adapting market, is leveraging your business and leveraging your relationships. I'll make this one very simple and very concise on how I look at leverage. What did I do when restaurants were shut down and businesses in my community were struggling, whether it be fitness businesses, whether it be, people in my community that couldn't operate because Canada decided they couldn't operate and real estate was thriving? I went out of my way to try and find people that I could help, right? I did free production work for some health and fitness users and for some small businesses that couldn't afford to do production work on their own. I overtipped. I took takeout. I did not go to the corporate giants. I supported and leveraged my community. I think you can do the same thing in a shifting market where you can leverage relationships. It doesn't mean that you go and ask people for things, but you can dig into those relationships and create leverage through them. It's so interesting to me how our industry is one that is very simple, yet 95% of people don't do the basic things to grow, which would be picking up the phone and actually calling people, picking up the phone and asking them how you can help them, and listening to the exchange of information and collaborations. Again, I'll reference Kim Walsh Phillips. She's a great example of that. She travels in different ecosystems and then always looking for ways to collaborate and leverage each other. So find a really good tribe of people and leverage those relationships. The number 5th is lead conversion. So number 5 and 6 are actually in tandem. So lead conversion is number 5, and then internet lead conversions is number 6. Those two leads are the solution in a shifting market. David Hill came on earlier. He's a really good friend of mine. We spend a lot of time together on Clubhouse. Dynamo sales trainer, really good at scripts and role playing. You literally need to understand you're going to be working twice as many leads to get the same amount of conversions. And the more you create leads, the more you create conversations, which create appointments, which create contracts, which create closings. Every conversation is an opportunity. Now, I sound like a salesman. I look like one in my profile photo. I'm not. I'm a problem solver, right? I listen to what you're trying to figure out. And if I see Mary Lynn Wilkins wants to buy a $10 million beachfront property, her question is, she wants a nice beach. She doesn't want shoreline erosion. She wants to make sure she knows there's no restrictions on what she can do with the property. What are the rules of the association? Like, I'm thinking about the problems I'm solving for the leads. And that's the solution to lead conversion, is actually having a very simple system that you use every time to convert your leads. I can do another segment on where I think the biggest opportunity in lead generation is today, but I'll give you a 30,000 foot view right now. If I get 1,000 leads on that beachfront property, the magic of today is 1,000 of those leads that came in off that initial lead form aren't going to be the leads that typically close. If you look at the quality of online leads, they're not great today. The real magic is, and I saw Zachary Faust in here earlier today. If anybody knows who Zachary is, you better look him up. He is an absolute phenom. And he digs into this on his social media, monster on TikTok. It's taking those 1,000 leads, exporting the CSV file, so creating a comma-separated value file, and then importing that into Facebook and Google, and then creating custom audiences and retargeting them with another piece of content around that area, or 5 reasons why you want to buy a beachfront property, or content that is going to answer the questions that they have, but not related to the original lead form that they clicked on. Now, if they watch that piece of content for more than 30 seconds, I then create another piece of content and retarget that custom audience again and tell Facebook and Google, I only want to target people that watch more than 30 seconds of this video with this ad. And once you get to like a 3 to 5 segment funnel of ads, you refine that 1,000-person audience so well that the quality of leads that you get at the end are bananas. It sounds complicated. It's not. You could literally go on YouTube today and type in retargeting on Facebook, retargeting on Google display ads, and get started. It's up to you if you actually want to get started or not. Number 7 and 8. Now, this digs into a bit of the real estate side of things. I smiled this morning when I thought of all the segments I've done and all the YouTube videos I've done. I always share my marketing tips, sales, how I built my business, time blocking. It's all there, right? It's at justinconoco.com/resources. There's free PDFs. I never really talk about real estate, even though that's the thing I know the most about. So I'm going to talk about effective seller pricing strategies, staging strategies, So if you're looking to sell your house, the reality of a shifting market is when you're in a balanced market and there's a lot more inventory and a lot more days on market, you can reduce your price till you're blue in the face. It does not mean you're going to generate showings. And if you're working with a good agent that knows the market, they're going to be able to tell you that. You'll know if you're not working with a good agent, if their only solution is to reduce the price and they haven't looked at the actual data. Now, that may be the case. You may be priced way too high, which is not reason you're selling. But if you're not presenting your property properly to the market, that could be one of the issues. It goes in this order: pricing, condition, and then marketing. So for the lowest price, it doesn't matter the condition of the marketing, somebody will buy it. If I sell you my house for $1, you'll probably buy it. But if my house is priced correctly and it doesn't show well, I can fix that and it'll probably sell for the price. If the price and the condition are great, then I haven't gotten in front of the right buyers. So pricing ahead of the market and being in a position where you understand that it's not a race to the bottom, it's not what it was 3 or 4 months ago, is very important. And then staging your property properly for sale. And I would equate this to all marketing: your business, your brand. It doesn't matter if you're a speaker on stage, you own a restaurant or a property. What is the experience that you're selling your customer through your branding and marketing? And what are they actually getting when they walk in the door? Our marketing, and you can go on Prime Real Estate Brokerage's YouTube channel and steal my ideas, is geared towards the end user. It's very heavily built around making sure that I'm finding the exact person for the property. Are you looking for a 12-acre off-grid property that you want to just feel like you can breathe? Maybe you're living in London, Ontario right now, and your neighbors are looking right in your backyard, and you just want to be able to have a garden outside and watch your kids play on your homestead. Is that interesting to you? Watch this video. Now, I'm not talking to somebody that wants a condo in downtown London. I'm finding the exact buyer for the property. And then when I get them to the property, it needs to show and deliver on that promise that I made. Again, it's all branding, marketing, and sales. If you're on Clubhouse, I'm going to switch the link to the YouTube channel. If you want to join us live on YouTube, we do this every single Friday, 7 to 7:30 a.m. Make sure you hit the subscription notification button so you don't miss any future episodes. I do not always leave these lives up on the public site. A lot of times I keep it exclusive for Breakfast with Champions. So if you want to get on that list, make sure that you are on that channel. So the 9, 10, 11, and 12 tips on how to survive or thrive during a recessionary period is standing out from the competition. We already talked about staging. Number 9 is creating urgency, overcoming buyer reluctance. Creating some sort of understanding that this is a shorter time period is important. I did it in this presentation. I explained to you that, if we're in a 15 to 24 month period and you can get a $250,000 discount on a property, but you have an increased mortgage cost, which would you prefer? I created a sense of urgency. Now, I'm not being a greasy salesman and saying something that's untrue. The data is there to back it up. You can do your own research, but that's one way of creating urgency in that situation. Number 10 is creative financing. So understanding that the banks are going to be tightening up as well. They're going to be a lot more restrictive in their lending policies. Now, this changes depending where you're located on the planet. But in Canada, we have our banks, which are our AAA lenders. We have our B lenders, which are more institutionalized lenders and private lenders. And then there's other people that are just hard money lenders. There's a lot of fluctuations in options depending on who you're looking to purchase from. There's also vendor takebacks. So the vendor can actually hold the financing on a property if you can't get financed with the bank. The bank doesn't necessarily look at you the way that you wish they would. They don't look at your track record. They don't really look at who you are in the community and you as a person. They're just looking at you as a line on an expense sheet. And they have some algorithms that are built based on risk management because they're in the risk management business, not the people business. So sometimes going to a B lender and paying a little bit higher of a rate gets you more flexible financing options, which could help you. I'd also say number 11, mastering the market of the moment. It says short sales, foreclosures, and REOs. Everybody's looking for the off-market property or the bank sale. That's not always the solution. Canada has a very different system with how it happens if somebody forecloses on a property. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't keep your eye out for opportunities, but just understand the market that you're in, right? If you're making purchasing decisions today and you think that everybody's a distressed seller and you're just throwing in offers that are $200,000 under asking price, you're going to get exhausted. Nobody's going to accept your offers. If you can work with somebody that understands the exact market that you're in, understands the comparables, and understands each opportunity and can help you break that down, that's the person that you want to work with. You can be a master of the market yourself, but I would also say I hire experts. Like I know what I'm a black belt at, but I also know that I don't know it all. So, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make in real estate from the buyer or seller standpoint is when they think they know more than somebody who happens to be an expert at that business. There's a common joke amongst real estate agents that you'll be at an inspection and, Uncle Jimmy, who bought a house once 47 years ago, will come in and pick the house apart like he's a home inspector. Meanwhile, he's saying things that we just can't really say anything about until we get through the inspection report and then go from there. So make sure you're mastering the market of the minute. And then number 12, bulletproof the transaction. So this is hyper specific to people that are in the real estate industry, but I would say whatever market you're in, if you are experiencing a downturn in terms of the number of clients that are converting, bulletproof your transactions from start to finish with your clients and make sure that you're providing them a better than they expected service, right? I'll use the analogy of a restaurant. You can go to a restaurant and pay very low price for low quality food and go in, go out. You got exactly what you expected. No problem with that. You can go to another restaurant where you pay maybe a medium price and you get better than expected food. You're like, oh, that was cool. That was a good experience. I'll probably go back there. Then you go to a third restaurant and you pay maybe the medium price. The food's exceptional. The manager comes over, thanks you for being there, gives you a $5 off coupon. You come back the next time. He remembers your name the next time, remembers that you like the chicken wings, gets you a free round of chicken wings. You hang out for a little bit. He learns a bit about your daughter. And then he says, come back with your friends next time and I'll give you a $10 gift card for something else. You go back that third time, he's got you for life. The client for life and the bulletproofing the transaction portion of your business is the most critical, because once you have a client for life, that client will tell every single one of their friends to come back and they will champion your business forever. So there are 12 simple ways for you to survive and thrive and put yourself in a position to be liquid and succeed throughout a recessionary period. But that is the last time I'm going to use that word. It is going to be a renaissance, like my friend Sean Shapiro says. Thanks for joining me live on YouTube. I'm going to head back over to Clubhouse. So come to the Breakfast with Champions Club, tap that little greenhouse at the top, come hang out with us there. And I'll be back next Friday at 7 a.m. to talk about another topic on how to survive and thrive.